U.S. military helicopters have been spotted repeatedly flying at low altitudes of 300 meters or less between Tokyo skyscrapers, contravening aviation regulations for Japanese aircraft.
Here's a summary of the article.
Tokyo, U.S. military helicopters have been spotted repeatedly flying at low altitudes of 300 meters or less between Tokyo skyscrapers, contravening aviation regulations for Japanese aircraft, according to a Mainichi Shimbun investigation. In an investigation conducted over about half a year from July 2020, the Mainichi Shimbun confirmed helicopters belonging to U.S. forces flying at low altitudes over Shinjuku. In downtown Tokyo, issues including noise problems have been reported around the heliport of the Akasaka Press Center, a U.S. military base in the Roppongi area in the capital's Minato ward. The Akasaka Press Center serves as a base for transporting top officials of the U.S. government and the U.S. military to the heart of Japan's capital, from suburban locations including Yokota Air Base in western Tokyo, as well as Camp Zama, Naval Air Facility Atsugi, and Yokosuka Naval Base in Kanagawa Prefecture, south of Tokyo. The military base in Roppongi has been used to this day since the Japanese government provided the property as a facility and zone for the U.S. military in 1952 following the demilitarization of the country after the end of World War II. Although the Minato Ward Office has repeatedly demanded the Japanese government to remove the military base, there has been no progress on the issue. Since July last year, the Mainichi Shimbun has examined the flight status of U.S. military aircraft from multiple points in 200-meter class buildings, including the observatory in the Tokyo Metropolitan Government Building's main building No. 1 in Tokyo's Shinjuku ward, to find out how they are actually being flown. The Mainichi Shimbun investigated the flight status of U.S. military helicopters in downtown Tokyo between July 2020 and January 2021.
This post received a score of 8,200, with an upvote ratio of 94%. Here are the top comments in response to this article.
Certainly the impression one gets from the media and from talking to Japanese people is that the U.S. military in Japan acts like a bunch of hooligans without many visible repercussions.
Japan is more sensitive to disrespectful behavior. They also like rules to be followed. It's not really too much to be asked for,
especially in an area with such high population density. Safety is also a factor here.
Safety is an issue, but I think noise abatement is also part of the rule system. Either way, there are reasons for rules to exist and typically you'd do well to follow them. Especially if you're a guest. And I hope nobody thinks the US has some sort of right to do as they please just because of WW2. If they tried shit like that in Germany, they'd have a major problem with the authorities there, too.
You'd hope they follow the rules. But did you know if you drive a diplomat car you can apparently park wherever you want? You won't get a ticket. Not sure if that is only in Japan or a thing for diplomats globally, but still something I haven't seen a proper explanation for. I've seen some diplomat cars in Roppongi on a Friday or Saturday night. Doubt it was for diplomatic purposes.
Diplomatic immunity protects all diplomats and their families from being prosecuted under the host country's laws. This is supposedly to prevent them from being held hostage as political bargaining chips, but it is frequently abused, commonly by diplomats ignoring all parking regulations. There was also an infamous case in the UK 2 years ago where an American woman, leaving an RAF base in her car, she then claimed diplomatic immunity to avoid being arrested and charged with manslaughter and fled the country. Also, she was the wife of a spy rather than a diplomat.
Spies who operate under diplomatic cover totally can, but there are also ones who operate without being officially registered as government agent. If those spies get caught doing something illegal, they're totally screwed. I mean like secret military tribunal screwed.
She is CIA and not registered, and she killed a kid. And she is being supported in evading justice by the U.S. government.
She was registered as the spouse of a covered CIA operative with the Foreign Office. Does she fall under the blanket of diplomatic immunity? I was in a traffic accident with a diplomatic plated vehicle outside of D.C. once. The guy got to present his diplomatic credentials and leave. Diplomatic immunity is a fucking nightmare, TBH. I understand why it exists, but in its current form it's basically designed to be abused.
This video was automatically created by Reddit to Speech. The article and comments in this video were selected from Reddit according to their upvotes, and any paraphrasing was performed by smmry.com, without any human intervention.